Hi guys, welcome to this first video on the measurement unit, and we're going to be kickstarting with some stuff that's pretty easy and you've probably seen it before, but it's going to be good revision. I'm going to try and smash through it pretty quick. Okay, so first up we're going to be looking at these two concepts called perimeter and circumference, which might be a little bit new, and so your learning goal for this is that students are able to calculate the perimeter of quadrilaterals and circles. Okay. And by the end of this, you'll be able to calculate the perimeter of a given shape and recall special features of a circle. Okay? Alright, so perimeter, the around measure. Now you might just be wondering what on earth is up with this. Well, that's the Greek word perimeter, spelled, and in fact it's just a complete transliteration, exactly the same letters kind of thing. And it means the measurement around something or over, kind of. Peri's got a lot of different meanings, but it's the around measure. And so what we're talking about is that the perimeter of something is just the measurement is if we were to start here at the side, at the corner somewhere, and walk around this shape. How far would we walk? How much is it measured as we go around it? Okay. Now, when we're talking about circles, however, something different. If we walk around that, that's called the circumference. Okay, so a little bit different. Perimeter is the measurement around anything, but we call for a circle, the special thing, circumference. Okay, all right. So a couple of key ideas for us. So the formula for the perimeter of any shape, okay, is simply just the sum of its sides. Okay, so if we had a shape that looked like this, all we need to do is make sure when we add them up, we're sort of adding up all these different sides as we go around. It's good. It's a good habit to sort of start in one spot and then kind of go around clockwise or something like that, just to make sure you're adding every side in there. Okay, and a formula that I'd like to see when you're working this stuff out. So maybe perimeter equals, you don't have to put the ER, maybe just P is fine. Perimeter equals SOS for sum of sides. Okay. Now, with this kind of stuff, with measurement and formulas and things, you really need to write that formula first, so you're telling me what you're trying to do. Okay, you don't just bust out numbers straight away. Let me know that you kind of know what you're doing. Okay, so write that the perimeter is the sum of the sides. Okay. We're also going to be introduced this unit to this idea of pi. Now you might have seen it before, you might have heard about it, but pi is a special number that has a special definition. Okay, so don't let anyone fool you by telling you that pi is equal to 3.14 or that pi is equal to 22/7. All of these things are approximations, okay? They're not equal to either of those two things. Pi is equal to the circumference of any circle divided by its diameter. Okay, so the circumference of the circle divided by its diameter is always going to be this weird number called pi, which does start off 3.14, but it goes 3.14, 159, blah, 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 and there's crazy competitions to see who can remember and recite the most numbers of it. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's what pi is. It's just the ratio of the circumference to the diameter of some circle. Okay, so please, unless you're specifically told to, just use the pi button on your calculator. Don't try and circumvent that by using 3.14 instead. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of worked examples. So calculate the perimeter of these shapes that I've got here. So this one here, nice little rectangle, got a right angle here. We're going to assume the rest of them are right angles. Okay, draw it in just for the fun of it. Okay, and so we're going to write the perimeter equals the sum of the sides, and we're going to start from this side here, and we're going to go around that way. All right, so here's some things to remember. Probably should have said that these are the same as each other as well. Is that idea that, see how this line has these two lines like that on it, and this one here? What that says is that this length here is exactly the same as this length. Okay, in the same way, this length here is exactly the same as this length. All right, so if we're starting here and going around, we'll have 9 millimeters plus 2.8 centimeters. So you need to kind of think about this a little bit. So 2.8 centimeters is we're going to be changing it to millimeters just to make life easy for us. So 28 millimeters plus our 9 millimeters over there plus our 28 millimeters again. And so that gets us 56 and 18 is 60, 74. 74 millimeters. But let's write that as 7.4 centimeters. Okay, so that's how we're going to go about our perimeter. That's how I'd like you to work it out. All right, let's have a look at this one here. It's a little more difficult, but more so it's only difficult because of the work you've got to do beforehand and then adding everything up. But you get to use your calculators now, so those addings, that processing stuff should be happening very quickly. All right, but we have to do a little bit of problem solving first with this one. Okay, so we're not given all of the information. Okay, so sometimes it's going to be a good idea to ensure you have all the information. Okay, before you get started. Don't want to get stuck, okay? So, let's assume we've got all right angles here just for the sake of it. Now, we're told this is 5 meters here, okay? But we don't know this length here, and we don't know this length here. So we've got to find those out. So 5 meters is this distance here. And we come down 3 to here, and then back up 1. All right, so if we take 3 away from 5, we're going to get 2 meters, all right? But if we're going to go back up 1 again, we're going to get 3 meters, all right? So that means that this length here is 3 meters, all right? Now, this part here, this whole length here is 27 across the bottom here. So we've got 19 here and 5 here. So 19 plus 5 is 24. That means 27 take 24. We have 3 meters here again. Now, just because these looked similar, I don't want you to get stuck in the idea of just assuming that they're going to be the same. You've got to use your actual logic, go through the process to figure it out. Okay, so we're going to go with our perimeter. Is the sum of sides. I'm going to start here again, go around. We have 3 plus 19 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5 plus 27. And that gets us 3 plus 19 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 27. 66. Seems about right. Now here's the important thing to remember, 66 meters. Make sure you put in the units, otherwise you're gonna find yourself getting things wrong and incorrect, because otherwise it's 66 what? No one really knows, okay? All right, calculate the circumference of these circles to 2 decimal places. Now, there'll be a lot of this rounding sort of stuff with circles involved, and it's up to you whether you want to set your calculator around or just round after the fact, okay? So, the circumference of this circle, here's our formula. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Okay. Pi is just some number we're going to use, and we've got 58 centimeters here. So pi times 58, which is pi times 58. So I've got 182.212. 182.212, but it wants it with 2 decimal places. So we're breaking off here. There's the 2, nothing's going to change. So our answer will be 182.21 centimeters. Okay. All right. This one here is using the radius. Okay. So the radius, remember, is halfway across. So diameter goes all the way across the circle. Radius just goes from the center out to the side. Okay. So since diameter equals 2 lots of radiuses, therefore our circumference formula is now pi times 2r, right? But you might know it better as 2 pi r. That's how I learned it when I was at school. Okay, so we have 2 times pi times 2 meters, okay, which is 4 times pi. which gets us 12.566, which rounds to 12.57 meters. Okay, we probably should be putting approximately equal to signs here. Okay, and there we have it there. Now, lastly, this thing here is sort of working out the perimeter of a sector. Okay, so this is easy because this is just 3, and this is also just 3 as well. Okay, and we're going to assume this is the center. Okay, but how much of a circle is this? Well, if you think about it, it goes all the way around and around and around, and this is a quarter of a circle. Okay, so that means that this length here, let's figure it out first over here. All right, so this, it's called an arc, so this arc will be equal to a quarter of a quarter times 2 times pi times 3. Okay, which is 4.71 meters, plus this extra 3 and 3 here, which is 6, gives us 10.71 meters. Okay, and that's how you go about those ones. Now that could be a little advanced. We might not be covering that in grade 8, but it's sort of maybe something for you to think about, and you might be able to get on top of that pretty easily. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry it's gone a bit long, this video, but I'm trying to sort of compress things a bit so I don't have to make more than one video for these different sections. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you at school. Thanks.